I guess I'm just gonna go live. G Meta. Yo, welcome everybody to the show. And by everybody, I mean 2160 and G. What's up, G? Nice. I emailed a link as well if you want to come on video. Right now it's just me, and I feel really bad for the audience because it's like a big screen of me. And if you've ever seen me before, that's not exactly good. There we go. What's up, Thomas?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Good to see you and speak with you.
Yeah, sorry I'm running late. I thought this was going to be on Spaces, so I had to kind of comb my hair and stuff and get ready for the video.
Yeah, no worries, man. I should have cut my hair. Mine's getting a little long, but yeah, no problem at all. Usually it takes a few minutes for people to trickle in anyway, so it's good.
Cool. What remind me, what's your name again?
Bernie, or
Bernie,
just
okay.
Burn is good.
Okay, cool. You're the Burn on the correspondence. Okay, perfect. Are we going to be demoing the product today?
I don't see why not, man. Yeah, I think we'll do a full dig in. I mean, we can go through everything. You guys have the whole hour.
Okay.
Was talking to another guest, but they just never replied. So you guys have the whole time.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's going to be the output from your side? How do you end up distributing this content?
Yeah, so right now we're live on YouTube. We are also on Twitter Spaces. Then it's going to it'll be syndicated across all the podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, all that good stuff. And I'll usually if I have time, I make some short clips and post those and get those spread out, put on YouTube and Twitter as well. So yeah, we build quite a bit of content out of each show.
Sweet. I'm excited.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, it's good to have you guys on. 21, are you able to speak? He's on Twitter, but he can't do the StreamYard today. Yeah, man.
How do we see who else is here? Oh, I see there's
Oh, you know what? Could you guys hear him at all? Could you hear 2160 when he just spoke?
No.
All right, guess what, man? For some reason, my Twitter. All right, he'd rather not talk. All right, he'll be an inquisitive listener. Yeah, so for some reason, my Twitter is not feeding back into the audio here, which I don't know why, because I've got everything adjusted properly on my Rodecaster. But yeah, so we could probably get started. So if you'd like to both just kind of give a quick intro to yourselves rather than the project, a little background on really what you've done before Web3, what you're doing now, and kind of how you got into it.
I can start. So my name's Thomas. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Lore. How I got into Web3 and background and stuff like that. So I guess the through line between my whole career is I kind of always wanted to distribute socioeconomic kind of lines a little bit more fairly throughout the world. So why I wanted to do that is I'm an immigrant from India and just was brought here when I was 8 years old. And I always found that to be quite a privilege, especially as I kind of went through college. I went to USC where there's a lot of rich kids and stuff. And then I ended up being a banker at Citi where we ended up servicing a lot of really wealthy clients. And I had this interesting perspective of kind of the financial services and the socioeconomic kind of opportunity in emerging markets versus what happens here in America for the 1%. So I always found that I was just very fortunate to, end up on this path. But then I have, family members and distant, cousins and stuff that never even had that opportunity. Right. So when I discovered crypto, I immediately kind of sensed that it could be this new kind of technology money in terms of like a money or a kind of software system that could redistribute capital a little bit more fairly and socioeconomic opportunity as well. So that's always been like my mission in life as soon as I discovered crypto. And how that ended up leading to Lore is, well, I made a couple stops. I was at Wire and Polychain, where I had a really good bird's eye view into consumer crypto behavior. This was in 2017 to 2020. Then like consumer crypto was like not really a category. There was just like wallets, basically. That's the only kind of consumer experience that existed. And I found it kind of strange that crypto was so social and community driven, but at the same time, the experiences available in crypto were just not that way, right? So I started kind of like experimenting with one of my childhood friends named Shelby Thomas. He's now my co-founder and CPO in early 2020 with what kind of like unique social experiences could be enabled by crypto. So initially we built this product called Prism, PRYSM. It was pretty popular throughout 2020 and 2021. It was a wallet tracking application where you could follow what your friends are doing on chain, follow influencers, verify they're actually putting their money where their mouth is. But long story short is we ended up raising a round with Polychain and stuff involved, and scaled out the team to like 8 people and had 50,000 users by the end of 2021. But it felt like we were one chess move away from like a Web2 social company, potentially just like copying, introducing some crypto features and eating our lunch, right? So then I needed to kind of like think a little bit more deeply about what kind of social experiences are really uniquely enabled by crypto. And then circling back to like my kind of, mission of like redistributing wealth and opportunity, it felt like crypto could be this socioeconomic railing for people to on the internet, like form capital and coordinate together to buy things together or create together or do together. So we were looking at different kinds of like ways to do that and kind of consumer behavior that allowed for people where people are like pulling together money to do things together. And it felt like at the time group buying NFTs was very, very popular. A lot of people were hacking together Gnosis Safe with like a Excel spreadsheet to track ownership and, wallet connecting into OpenSea and other interfaces to go and do this. And it was done in a really hacky way. So it felt like there was an opportunity to stitch that all together. So we introduced a feature on the Prism platform to do that, and it ended up being like the highest engagement feature we've ever introduced. So by 2022, we ended up pivoting Prism to Lore, raising another round of capital with this kind of new direction, and became basically like the de facto co-ownership platform over the last 12 months or so. So now we've there's about 1,250 collectives that have formed on the platform. They've coordinated about $20 million, so that's about 8,000, 9,000 Ethereum on the platform to buy, I think, over like 1,500 NFTs. So it's very popular. We've done partnerships with like Proof, Memeland, Azuki, so on and so forth. And then now we're actually expanding to more use cases like crowdfunding and creator fan clubs and things like that. So happy to get into that, but that should cover a lot of ground there.
Nice. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard of Prism before. So I haven't been around for a terribly long time. I came in like late 2021, but definitely sounds familiar. Yeah, man. Good background. I love the mission and the story behind it. Gunjan, did I say that right? I'm probably slaughtering your name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. It's Gunjan. Yeah, happy to give a background. Going to be a lot more concise than Thomas. So I majored in econ in college and was lucky enough to have a professor that had previously worked at the Federal Reserve. And at the time, we were studying like the financial crisis of 2008. And it always fascinated me, the Federal Reserve's role in that entire thing. And then shortly after, I took a job at Morgan Stanley, and we were working on comprehensive capital analysis requirements, which were a new thing that banks had to do at the time. to do stress testing for different types of scenarios that could potentially, start a new financial crisis. And so I thought that was super fascinating that this entire like financial system is kind of just built with these blocks where it could all potentially fall at any moment. And that kind of led me into crypto. I also was pretty early on in the space in 2017, worked at a crypto startup in New York City that was doing KYC. And then I worked with Thomas at Wire for a couple of years, where we really delved into like payments and cross-border payments. And then I worked at Coinbase for 2.5 years, and I was working on a lot of different product lines there. The one that I worked on the most was custody and cold storage for institutions, and really learned about their challenges about needing security with cold storage, but then also wanting to participate on chain during DeFi summer. I also worked on the NFT marketplace that we launched, and a couple of other initiatives there. And now I'm helping out Thomas on growth here at Lore.
Wow, that's quite the resume. I mean, really from both of you. So it's always good to hear. I think one of the most important things about any kind of project, be it a platform or an NFT project or whatever, is the ability of the team. And it sounds like you both have a great deal of experience and know what you're doing. So that's definitely positive to hear. So on that note, Thomas, if you want to get into Lore, take us on a deep dive. There's a present button down at the bottom of the screen. You can share the screen, walk us through whatever, and really just kind of take us through the whole thing. Oh, you're on mute still.
Cool. Let me just share screen. I have a small demo here prepped up. Okay, so Lore helps you basically spin up a community wallet with your friends and crowdfund that wallet, and then basically make decisions together with the new funds that you've formed. So one thing that's kind of different about our platform from a simple tool like Gnosis Safe or another kind of like smart contract wallet is that we actually allow you to grow your collective over time. So you could start with a really small group of people, start pulling together some resources to maybe buy just 1 or 2 NFTs. And then as you kind of hit your milestones, you can open up your on-chain collective to more people, for more resources and keep your story kind of going, and hence the name Lore in a sense. So let me get into actually a couple use cases that the platform enables. So group buying NFTs is like, I think, the simplest use case that can happen on the platform. So just like 5 friends, like even just us 3 here, right? We can just set up a group wallet very easily, pull together 1 ETH each and go snipe something on OpenSea or whatever NFT platform. But what's interesting is with that kind of simple infrastructure, a lot of different use cases have emerged on the platform. So one good example here is Deadbird Society, which is a trade-based social club for moonbirds, for the skeleton trait moonbirds. And what they've done on Lore is about 70 of them, I believe, have formed, I think, over 80 ETH or so over several funding rounds to buy a collection of skeleton trait moonbirds, and then use that IP ownership to go and create kind of like a meme around what Deadbird Society stands for. So initially they were kind of like figuring out what Deadbird Society actually stood for. And then they identified a mission that resonated with the whole community, which was they wanted to bring more awareness to biodiversity loss. So they use this brand that they created to go and create another, another kind of set of on-chain media, other kinds of like NFT collections to go and like proliferate this mission. So that's a really good use case. Another use case is art collectives that get formed. So let me actually pivot to a public profile page. So this is an art collective that got formed through the Hug community. And basically they pulled together their resources to support an artist that emerged from their community by the name of Anna Judd. And they wanted to acquire as many of Anna Judd's, one of Anna Judd's like initial collections as possible. So what they did is they used lore to pull together money, and also pull together Anna Judd pieces as well. So they opened up a crowdfund on lore where people could either fund with Ethereum or they could actually fund with Anna Judd pieces. So I think at the time it was like you could fund with 0.2 ETH or one Anna Judd piece. And now they've kind of like acquired about 50, I think, of the outstanding 90 or so of the pieces. And they've been kind of going steady on the platform through several funding rounds and opening up to new levels of membership over time.
Hey, quick question.
Go ahead.
So I see you've got the equity broken down, which is super helpful, right? So I'm guessing that's measured by, how much each person is contributing into the fund, correct? So
that's right.
Nice. Okay. So let's say they sell something, right? For whatever, 5 ETH, and they want to take a distribution to all holders. Does this platform does it auto calculate and send that distribution out to each wallet, or would they have to manually do that?
Yeah, so we cover the entire life cycle of On-Chain Collective. So if you wanted to make a distribution and you have, let's say 5 ETH to distribute to 5 members, then you just launch a proposal that everyone votes on, and push that through, and then it's just automatically distributed to all 5 people pro rata based on the equity share that they have.
This is super cool. Okay. Yeah, it's almost like a mini DAO without being a DAO, but it's like kind of sort of.
We kind of joke that we're like the anti-DAO platform.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
We want to focus on more consumer fun use cases, and power like the future kind of cultural economy that's forming around NFTs.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of Rex guys and Rug Radio people listening in right now, and I think I could see this being something that we would do in really either of those communities. Definitely Rec guys, with focus around trades or collecting or people pulling together to kind of maximize their collecting power, I guess you could say. So, yeah, this is super interesting.
Yeah, that's like maximizing your collecting power, right? That's something that's like a core value and that we're trying to drive through the platform. The core purpose of what we're doing is all about like increasing accessibility to the space, right? So it is this way to buy things that you could not alone, do things, accomplish missions that you could not alone, and even like create kinds of artwork and create different kinds of projects that you could not alone. So and we want to just be like that new kind of internet native organizational structure to power that and be a really like core part of the internet economy, which is quickly kind of becoming a larger and larger part of the IRL economy as well. And this goes back to the thesis on distributing socioeconomic opportunity, right? So kind of like how smartphones helped a lot of people in emerging markets leapfrog into the knowledge age, right? We think this kind of organizational structure can help a lot of creatives and people that don't have those kind of opportunities in emerging markets, like leapfrog into the creator economy.
So for something like this, I would imagine it's like multi-sig in one way or another, right?
Yeah. So right now we're powered by Gnosis Safe. And we're always looking at different kinds of wallet technologies as well. And there's a pretty high probability that we'll introduce new other kinds of group wallets you can also launch on the platform.
Nice, man. So let's say we want to take like one of these funds like more public. I don't want to say take it public, but have it more accessible. Would someone be able to like share a link and say, hey, apply to join our fund? They fill something out, and then if approved, then you can just approve their wallet and let them in.
Yeah, that's definitely on the roadmap. And we've experimented with that in the creation flow already. I might be able to get there easily, but long story short is there is a gathering interest kind of section. So let me see if I can get there. But I think we released like a V1 where I don't think it's like significantly better than trying to do this on like a type form or a D form or some other tool. So we're going to improve that over time and try to make that a little bit better. So let me see if I can get there.
Just thought of another question while you're doing that. So let's say you got 20 members and one wants to exit their position completely. How would that work? Would it be almost like they could do like a shotgun clause, like, hey, I'm offering up my equity. Everyone has an opportunity to buy either an equal amount. They can opt in or opt out, and then like buy that person out of the position, or what would that look like?
Yeah, so this is probably a good time to get into the our how we think about ownership on chain. So when you contribute to the collective, you receive an NFT membership that's actually I'm not. Oh, there it is. Okay, that's actually tradable. So you could trade this. You could just list it on OpenSea for the fair value, and or less or more, whatever. And you could get out of the collective that way. Or what you could do is launch an exit proposal. Let me see if I can get there. So the proposal system is how you make on-chain decisions kind of together, right? And like I mentioned, everything in the fund life cycle is here. We have a concept of funding rounds. We're actually going to be, we'll talk about Lore V2 probably in a little bit, but we're going to be changing this concept a little bit to be more crowdfundy and allow for more kind of trustless mass scale community use cases. So we'll talk about that in a second. But at the end of the life cycle, there's exits and distributions. So you could launch as a member a way to you could propose an exit, right? You could be like, hey, I want to get rid of 5% of my stake or all of it, right, for X amount of ETH. And we can tell you what the fair value is based on like the collection of NFTs that you have. But ultimately, like it's kind of up to the collective to come to that decision together. So those are the two ways you can exit.
Nice, man. I can't believe I've never heard of this. Yeah, it just seems so useful. This is definitely one of the coolest, if not the coolest platform I've seen on the show yet. It's like, yeah, you can vote on proposals and stuff. So yeah, I'm guessing that your equity stake is your voting power as well.
Your equity stake is your voting power. Yes. That said, every group is pretty different in how they want to set up decision making. So if it's like 5 of your homies like trying to buy a punk or something together, one of them is probably like kind of the de facto leader who's leading this effort, and maybe the other folks are just like pretty new to crypto, right? Or don't know what's going on. And let's call this guy Chad. So Chad, they might just be like, Chad, why don't you just make all the decisions for us? Like, why introduce a governance process, right? When it's just like your iMessage chat trying to buy a punk. So
yeah, my friends want me to do that, and I'm like, fuck no, dude, I don't want to go to jail. But
yeah,
control of
that's a whole other
life.
conversation. But yeah, so you could set up governance where you just like delegate someone to basically make all the decisions, or you can set up something that's like very, very trustless and on chain, like kind of like how NounsDAO, for instance, operates, where it's like one person has one vote, and every decision is made on chain with a very kind of specific kind of parameters around how things get passed. And as people vote, there's going to be an on-chain action triggered if all those votes are passed. So anything as kind of decentralized and trustless as that to like, hey, let's just have like Chad make the decisions for us.
Nice, man. This is really robust. So are you the coder or do you have a team? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, great question. So there's kind of an interesting story here because we started a few weeks before COVID lockdowns happened, and obviously, like my co-founder and my co-founder is a PhD in computer science, so we came from really credible backgrounds, and at the time, it was like it wasn't going to be a problem to like raise money for any sort of like idea that we were going to come up with, and we're basically like a hot deal, right? And then as COVID kind of hit, the VC market started to basically just like kind of crawl into its shell, and no deals were getting done. And this was a really interesting time for Shelby and I, because we were like, hey, like if we really believe in this, like we're gonna have to build it ourselves. Like we're not gonna be able to raise money to hire developers and designers to do this, right? And neither of us, frankly, like we both came from technical backgrounds, but he's like a rocket scientist trying to build a car engine, right? Where I was a trader and stuff, and I know data science and Python and stuff, but I never built consumer products really before. So we really cut our teeth for about like 6 months or so, where we're just like, there's a little bit of money, maybe like 39K or something. I remember the number so precisely, that we ended up raising from angels at that time. And we just made that kind of like last for as long as possible. And we just cut our teeth, just like coding the first version, learning like design. I learned front end like pretty well. So the first few versions, like we built ourselves, and then as the team has scaled, now there's about 7 people working on it full time. We've hired some great developers and designers, and I think neither I haven't shipped a line of code in like 18 months plus, and then I don't think Shelby has been like deep like shipping code, although he does code reviews and stuff still.
Wow, impressive. Okay, so how do you monetize?
Great question. So this version 2 is going to introduce a monetization mechanism. So version 2 is going to be a little bit different, where instead of having people contribute whatever they want into the wallet, you could still do that. Like, you could do what version 1 kind of does. But what you do is launch a tiered NFT membership sale. So there could be several tiers. Like, let's say you wanted to start a collective for Rug Radio, and you can launch a gold tier where that's 1 ETH. You can launch a silver tier that's 0.5 ETH, so on and so forth, right? And then you can make them fixed editions or open editions, and people kind of like mint to join the collective. And we're going to be taking a fee on the mint. We're still figuring out the economics. Like I think the kind of the monetization models around mint to join have been evolving even like over the last few days, with Zora kind of introducing their protocol fees, for instance, and their protocol kickbacks. So we're debating internally right now between like a fixed fee on these things or a variable fee. But that's going to be how we monetize, is going to be at the mint to join level, and then potentially on distributions and exits. But that's still kind of up in the air.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so I guess the main key then is just scaling. So I think if NFTs make it, then you guys will make it. So a little slow right now with the trading and collecting and all that, but
but that's also so version 2 is expanding to use cases outside of buying and selling. We will be supporting crowd funds for any sort of like cause or impact or idea or project. So for instance, we're working with a creator who's very big in the Spanish speaking kind of tech community. And long story short is a lot of great entrepreneurial books like Girl Boss, for instance, right? It's a very popular story. I believe around Glossier. That book is just not like available in Spanish. So he's launching a crowdfund to translate like a collection of entrepreneurial books that are going to be a huge hit and lifesaver for his Spanish speaking community from English to Spanish, right? So those kind of crowdfunds can be enabled now on the platform, and the design, the brand marketing, all of it, like the storytelling is going to shift a little bit, although the info is generally the same, really, right? And we have all sorts of payment proposals and stuff, so it's all the same infra. It's just a different kind of use cases we're going after. That's an example, and then we're also going to be introducing creator fan clubs. So think like Web3 Patreon, those kind of use cases. And we're be rolling this out to layer 2. So Optimism, Polygon, and Base are all on our roadmap in quick sequence. And I think a lot of these use cases are going to be better served there, because we're kind of, a lot of these use cases, people are dealing with, like if it's like a Web3 Patreon, some of these subscriptions are like $3, $5, and like $50. So, if it's on ETH mainnet, the gas fees can like really bite into that. So that's a quick little synopsis of like where we're focused on V2.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, the tech is powerful. I can definitely see it in a lot of different use cases. So, yeah, that's it's really interesting. So it could be like almost you could have a Web3 Kickstarter type of deal. Yeah, there's just a ton you can do with it.
Yeah,
really interesting.
And then based on how you want to set up governance, the Kickstarter could also give the funders some sort of voting rights in the direction of the project.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it. I mean, okay, cool. Trying to think if there's any other questions. Is there anything else you want to take me through?
Not really. I think we covered a lot here on the demo. I can demo more stuff, but I think it might be better if we want to open up the floor to like any questions. We're also be pretty excited about giving early access to V2 to the Rug community. So if that's something we want to talk about, we can talk about that too.
Let's talk about it. Yeah, what would that look like?
Yeah, so it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. We're rolling out to select communities on the first week of September. We already have a few of our launch partners kind of identified. Think like, Seed Club, Storyverse, those kind of communities that are not just like buying and selling NFTs, but more on the creativity kind of side of things, and would get excited about community crowdfunds and things like that too. So we could do this in two ways. One would be a little bit, I think, better from an attention capturing standpoint, which would be we would design a co-branded NFT with Rug, and we can handle all that on our side, and then launch a mint, which gets you access to the V2, and then we can gate that mint by any sort of allow list or token on your side. The second way we could do this is just like collect an allow list from you all, and absent the NFT mint, just give Rug Radio community members access.
Nice. Okay. So then essentially by having early access, it would be for the Rug Collective, right? So the Rug Radio Collective. And then once that's built out, however they want to build it, they can do what they want with it. They can sweep rugs all day or invest in whatever, or it gives them full autonomy, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then the folks with this NFT will also get a discount on fees. We're still figuring out exactly how much, but there's like a little bit of value there if you end up being a user.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. Would you be interested in this for like Rect Guy and Degens as well?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, they're a bunch of absolute degens, and they might want to put something together. So I think it's definitely something we can offer up to both communities. If you'd like to just send me an email, like bullet points on the couple different options, so I can cover them with the teams. I think it's something I'm definitely interested in. I know Rug Radio will have to run it by legal for sure. We run pretty much everything by legal because we're getting pretty big, and we want to do things right. But at first glance, I don't see anything wrong with it. So I would love to bring this to our communities and kind of give them the power to build something out in here. I mean, it's a super cool application you built out, and I think there's a lot of use cases for it as well. So yeah, I think we'd like that, right, guys? We gotta, this would be fun for sure. Oh, ABS. What sort of discount? All right, you can ignore that one.
Yeah, we're still figuring it out.
Yeah, he's a troll. Okay, cool. Yeah, interesting. Well, 2160 can't talk, but I'm sure he'd be expressing his approval for sure as well of the project. Yeah, we've already got people interested. We've got, if you look at the comments, I mean, Ben likes it, MP likes it, and I think it's exciting. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, and keeping track on the growth of lore, because it's the use cases are endless. Nice. So I'm gonna rate it. We have to rate every project. So I'm gonna give you a 9.1, which is a really high score. I mean, it's just obviously you've got a great team. You're both a couple of big brains. I can tell you're both really smart, and then your other partner as well. And what you build is really robust and useful, and it's unique. I'm not sure if anyone else has anything like this, and if they do, I'm sure it doesn't have the abilities that this platform does. So really useful, and I kind of want to like build out a collective with some friends. Like I'll put in 0.1 ETH and have them each put in 10 ETH, and then demand that I get equal ownership. All right, we've got someone coming up on stage. OX Dosa. He's connecting now. But yeah, I want to build out a collective for sure. This is cool.
Sweet. We'd love to have you.
All right, OX Dosa. So they won't be able to hear you because I don't know how technology works. But if you want to ask your question, go ahead and I'll repeat it to the guests. You're on mute right now if you're trying to speak. MP wants you on the GM morning show and the Nifty morning show. We can talk about that if you guys want off record. Yo, what's up, man? Nice. Nice. Thanks, man. So that was an awkward silence for all of us because none of you can hear him. I imagine you can't hear him. But he basically said he's been running a collective on lore for over a year. He's been able to quit his job. He said it works super well. It's robust. He loves the technology. So yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate you coming up and sharing about this. That's good to hear.
Yeah, he's one of our biggest power users, and I love seeing that story. Right, like that's why we're here, is to help people like quit their jobs and pursue their passion. And yeah, and he was able to do that. So and they've also made a considerable amount of money over the bear market as well, by pulling together not just their capital but like their collective intelligence, and making better decisions together.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, and there's definitely something to be said for that, because like as a trader or a degen, I think one of our biggest enemies is our emotions, right? and making decisions too quickly, not thinking things through, trading with emotion. And this kind of takes that emotion out of it when you've got a group of people that have to vote through it and have to think about it before you do something. There's definitely value in that. So yeah, good to hear. And congrats, man, on smoking it during the bear market. Thanks for coming up. I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, I give you guys a 9.1. I can't even remember.
Nice.
It's 9.1 or 9.2. So that's like a super high score. I love the platform. Really interesting and valuable, and I want to make a collective. So if you can, send me an email, bullet point out, what you're thinking about. I'd love to put this in front of both communities. And yeah, we can also talk about the bigger shows like the GM show or things like that. We've emailed back and forth a little bit, but yeah, we can discuss those as well.
Yeah, we'd love that opportunity, especially around the V2 launch here in September. I think we're just going to be, doing a big old media tour at that time and just talking about our story and like what V2 enables. And I think that can drive a lot of traffic to you all as well, because there's going to be a lot of attention on us.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get together and talk it through, and then speak with the team as well. So,
okay.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Well, thanks for having us, Vern. This was fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Really pumped to hear about it, and I can't wait I'm going to get into a collective one way or another. So the Rec guys and Rug Radio people that are listening right now, hit me up. Let's put some money together and build something, because I think it'd just be fun. Really cool and valuable as well. So thanks, Thomas, and great work, man. This is impressive.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, right. No problem. Thanks, brother.
See you, Vern. Bye.
See you, man. And I'm gonna just play us out with just me on the screen, needing a haircut. Or a field or something, maybe in a cave. He is a troll. He just said a collective of idiots run by Burndogler. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Peace.